The name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. Designers, creatives alike. We are in a world that runs on value. Our next designs will be the shiniest. Our next animation will be the most buttery. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Changers, let the games begin.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Editor X Live with me, your host, Brandon Groce. I had a little bit of a, there we go, in my throat. I'm glad to have you guys with us. Kimberly, Gabriel, glad to have you all in the live chat. With that said, I want to welcome you guys to another amazing walkthrough that we are going to have today. And today we are focusing on Parallax experiences. We're going to do a very short and quick hero section with a sort of like Parallax mountains. We're going to figure out how to get a really cool effect in 30 minutes here. So with that said, let us begin. And if you guys are new to Editor X, is basically the first amazing platform for designers like us in a no-code basically format to allow us to create responsive websites from scratch in very short periods of time. So with that said, let's hop into it. And if you want to get started in Editor X for free, you guys can check down the link in the description, as well as download the starter files for what we're going to be creating today. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on into my screen. So this is what we're going to be producing basically what we're going to be producing today. And we are essentially going to be creating an experience where there's 3 layers. We have this background here. We have our name of basically the portfolio that is going to be essentially the thing that is going to be parallaxed in between the background, the midground, and this foreground. And basically we are going to have it, when we scroll, kind of move in between the foreground and the background. Also, do not forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when we go live. What's going on, JT? Glad to have you in the live chat as well. All right, so let's begin. We are going to very simply pop open our Editor X platform here. And now, this is very simple concept that I really put together. Let's take a look at this. And this isn't the site that we're putting together. This is the concept that I'm kind of explaining when it comes to Parallax. So let's go to my layers here. This is very simple. We have one section with 3 containers that give us this effect here. So we have this sort of layer that is on top. As we scroll, there is a background portion here, and essentially that background portion stays fixed, and we have this this layer here, which will basically be our mountain, and it is overcoming this content that is in the background here. So let's kind of let's get into that. Let's get into our menu right now. Kimberly says the name is Brandon Groce. I've taken the red pill, my good sir. I hope we all can take the red pill today. That energy we need, Kimberly. All right, so let's go ahead. I've already opened up a new page for me. I've already basically put all of the assets that we need in my media here. And this is all of the content you guys will have in the link down in the description in our Dropbox folder. We have all of the assets basically exported for you, and we also have an Adobe XD file for you, the exact same one that we have here for you guys to download and open up yourself. And today's font usage is Yellowtail, and I believe the Wix display font. So let's go ahead and get our background images in here. We're going to go ahead and pull in. We're going to go to our section, our design tab, and we're going to pull in our background just like this. Go to home and just put this called back right where it needs to be. Boom. I'm going to not display our what is this, our footer. So I'm just going to do don't display. And our menu here, we're going to go ahead and just add in a mobile menu. We're going to type out a very small title here with my other name, and then we're just going to add a button. So we'll very quickly do that. First thing first, I do want to select my navigation. I want to go to my layouts here, and I want the position type to be pinned. and overlap next section. I think from you guys watching this, you guys know there's like a certain type of settings that I really like to use from website to website. And I'm also gonna set my first section here to 100 VH just to give us some space to work with for now. And I'm gonna refresh just to make sure that VH is working. All right, there we go. We have our space. And now let's go ahead and let's pull out our logo. We're gonna just close this. JT says, if I add this feature to my website, can I submit it to the challenge even though I'll be using my own assets? Actually, JT, that's a great question. So you don't have to use our assets for the challenges. Really, all the challenges or these walkthroughs are for is to give you guys assets to easily work with and learn the features and things that we're learning. But honestly, as long as you're using the things that we're going over, whether it be, you know, Parallax or like yesterday, it was responsive. You know, Kimberly made an entire site related to cupcakes. Yesterday, you know, Gabriel entered things related, purely related to donuts. Had nothing to do with our assets or whatsoever. So you, as long as you are attempting to show that you've learned and or are working with the things that we're working with on the particular day of the walkthrough. So if you create a Parallax website that has nothing to do with mountains, put it in the Discord. Show us what you got so we can all learn. These walkthroughs are purely just to get a fundamental understanding of a feature, and let's see what everybody does with that knowledge. That helps us learn. Great question. All right, so let's go ahead and grab some of the. I'm gonna go to my menus here. Menu search. Hamburger menus. I'm just gonna grab this, place this right here, and I'm gonna change the I'm gonna reverse. So I want the background to be white and I want our little 2 dots to be black, and I'm gonna add quick add. I'm gonna do a title, all caps, Brandon Groce. And I am going to make this white with our theme color, and I'm going to change this to the Wix. I think it needs to be a display. Yeah, display regular, there we go. And I'm also going to use the spacing that we're using here, which is 278, and it's 16 pixels. So let's go ahead and add that as well. So 16 pixels, and let's go ahead and add some of that line spacing. We're just gonna eyeball this for now. Wait, hold on. Butter slime potato? Hold on. What are you guys talking about in the live chat? Why did you make me almost snort my juice? Let's not do that, guys. Let's not drown from juice snorting. It's early morning, or it's afternoon. It's afternoon. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and center this. And I'm going to reduce the opacity of this in just a moment. So edit text, You know, rather than the opacity, we're just going to make this a little bit more gray. So I'm going to pick this right here, see what that looks like for us. That is definitely too gray. We'll go 1 shade higher or lighter right here. That should be good for us. Yeah, perfect. And we're going to just grab one more button. Go to my quick add. We're going to go to button, and we're going to grab this white button right here. Oh, well, I saw a cupcake, Kimberly. I saw one cupcake, and so I thought the entire thing, it looked like cupcakes. I don't know. It looked like some really good frosting. You know, I was so distracted at how well the site was put together. I was wondering why the frosting was floating at the top. It makes much more sense now that is not cupcakes. It is a slime website. This is what happens, guys. All right, let me go ahead and what does our button say? It says get in touch. Okay. Change text. get in touch. And I also want to get the text for this. This is the Wix made for display. It is bold and 22 pixels. So I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go to my text. I'm gonna go change the font here. We're gonna do Wix display bold. We're gonna do 22 pixels. Hit enter, and let's see if that changes. It does, and that boy is thick. We need to reduce that to like 16. Yeah, 16's all right. And we are going to reduce, we don't want that that border. So we're gonna take this off, width, take that out. There we go. Cool, we have our header. So now what we need to do is we need to get our other assets in. We're gonna get our mountain, and we're gonna type out our name here. So we're gonna go to title. We're gonna type out Brandon Groce again because we are that egotistical. We need our we need our name everywhere on this site. Brandon Groce. We're gonna use our font Yellowtail. There we go. And we don't need caps for everything. So Brandon Groce. There we go. I'm gonna use our theme color white. Yellowtail, please. There we go. And the font, we are just gonna eyeball here. We're gonna rock with 50. All right, we definitely need more than 50. What are we rocking with here? 240. All right, let's do that. So I'm gonna put this 240. And my first, basically my first, how do I say? The first thing I am worried about when it comes to building this Parallax website, or really just any website, is hierarchy, or getting everything out on the web page. So I'm getting all my assets, I'm getting everything where they need to go, and then once I get everything into place, then we'll switch gears and get our mind ready to start thinking about the Parallax. That's kind of how I think about websites. You know, I get everything out on the page, and then I'm like, okay, well now these things need behavior. Or, you know, how do I want these things to act now that I have them in place? Or now that I have everything in place, how do I want these to respond when we start doing responsivity? And we will talk about responsivity in another video. We'll see how much we can get done here in the 30 minutes, but you guys can find full 30-minute videos related to responsivity on this channel, but today that is not our main objective. Main objective is so you guys can see how you guys can apply Parallax all right, and let's pull in our mountain. What I think I'm gonna do here, let me go here for just a second. I'm gonna refresh my memory just so I can save time here. So we have kind of how this works, and I'm curious to know how many of you in the chat have already attempted to do somewhat of a parallax yourselves. So we have this. I'm gonna go ahead and not display this for right now, and I'm gonna see, let's preview this. All right, so we have our semi, I think we're gonna have to do 2 containers. So essentially we have one section that is like 400 VH. So that's, in my mind, I'm thinking 4 different sections that are 400 or that are 100 VH each. That's kind of how I did this one. And then one container is, let's see. This container is pinned or sticky to the back, and it is at the top, while this is sticky and is at the bottom of the row. So let's go ahead and let's see what we can do. So we are going to, let's go ahead and go to our section. I'm gonna apply a grid here. And this is kind of where we're gonna have to do some thinking, guys. So I'm gonna pull this section right about here, or this grid rather. And I'm gonna sit my name right on that grid. Underneath here, I am going to add a container. I'm going to full scale this in this grid area here. Manuel says, how about Parallax with background color changing? Yeah, that would be awesome. And I'm sure we can definitely do it. And we'll have to try that another time. But I'm curious to know what we could do with that as well, Manuel. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to pull this down. And I am going to... I'm going to add our mountain here to this container. So I'm going to change image. I'm going to go and grab our little rock here. I'm going to make sure I adjust this. There we go. So we get almost its original size. I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to center it in our container. And now what I do want to do, let's take a look at how things are right now. So we have our background. Or we have our, let's see, how do we want to do this? We have our section, we have our container, and we have our title here. And so let's start to make some things sticky. I'm going to go ahead and make this container. Let's go ahead and switch it from default to sticky. Let's preview, see what kind of what's happening here. Nothing so far. And I think that is because our main section, let's go ahead and make this 200 VH. Let's start to play around with this. And this background image, I think this is where I am gonna have to undo this. I'm gonna remove the media from there, and I am going to make another container. And I'm gonna place this in the top section here. Go back to my section, change grid layout, and I want these two halves, right? I want this to be 100 VH, and we'll change this later. We're just, for right now, we're just setting them as something that makes sense, and we can apply what works for us later. Change grid layout, advanced. I'm gonna come here, we're gonna set this to 100 VH. All right. And now this container, we are gonna go ahead and, this is where we're gonna apply a background. So we're gonna do quick add image. I'm going to scale this to the full size of this 100 VH. Change image. We're going to get our background of our mountains here. And let's go ahead and see what's kind of happening when we preview. All right, we have our two sections. All right, go back to edit. Let's go do this container here. Let's look at our settings and our layout. We have sticky. Let's see, we're trying to recreate what we have here. So let's take a look at our settings. For some reason, I can't scroll here. Section, container. All right, this is the bottom. And for our background, it is the container behind everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. So we're going to go to our layers. This container right here with our background, we're going to push behind, and we're just going to call it background so we know what we're dealing with. JT is asking, is it better to use SVG for transparent images? I usually use PNGs. Great question. If you can use an SVG and it's easy for you to acquire one, definitely go SVG. Those things long term are much easier to deal with than PNGs. JT is also asking, I have my author website to help on the help page, but it doesn't look at all like yours. Your author website. I don't know what that is. So, unless you clarify, I can't help you with that one, JT. All right, let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Background. Boom. Let's go to preview. Let's see what we got. Okay. I'm trying to think. How can we keep this in the background and this container be sticky? It was so easy to do here. And so this is top. This one's bottom. And we have the exact same thing here. Maybe this needs to be sticky too. We'll see. Preview. There we go. All right, so this is sticky. Perfect, we got that. Now we need to set this background actually to the back so that our other layer can be on top of it as it's sticky. There we go. All right, we're getting somewhere, guys. I knew I knew it wasn't crazy. All right, so now we have our mountain. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and fish for our H2. Let's go and push this in between. Let's preview. Let's see what we got happening here. All right. So we have our background. We have our mountain. And let's see. Da, da, da. Position. We also want this to be sticky. We want this to be at the top. Let's center this. All right, everything, all these notifications got to go away. Preview. All right, perfect. So now kind of what I want to, and this is going back to, I think, what May was saying in the back. How can we have, you know, May, you were talking about parallax background. One of the things that we can do, and this is a new feature, I basically put an image in this container here. And what I can do is, let me see, there should be, yeah, sections, background scrolling effects. For some reason I can't apply this here. Add a visible background to apply scrolling effect. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna not display this image, because what we're gonna do instead is this container. We are gonna go into, oh, we can't do that. Man, that was the plan. I was so excited to actually use the background scrolling in the container, but this is kind of, this is what it's asking us to do. And it's not gonna work as I had planned. I had planned to put this as a background, right? Just like before, have our background, but if you guys remember, this whole background section here is going through our entire section, and we don't want that. We want containers. So if we look at this, we just preview this, and let me turn the opacity on this background down. This might work though, but you know, I don't think this is the desired effect that we're looking for. Let's go to our section, color 0, banana. All right, so we have our background, but it's not quite what we're looking for, but let's see if we can play with it. We might be able to get kind of what we're looking for. And this is, guys, again, but this is kind of why I like these walkthroughs, because I have an intention of what it is that I want to show you guys. But then, like, as I work through it, I'm like, oh, there's actually a better way to do this. And from a lot of your guys' questions, I'm like, oh, you know what? How about we try it this way? And let's experiment a little bit. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, JT, okay, now I get it. You're asking if I used if you guys used parallax scrolling, and you were like, yes, Brandon, on my author website. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together. The way that you answered it was broken from the way. by the time when I asked versus when I read your thing. So thank you for answering your question. I'm curious to see what what yours looks like. All right, so what I want to do, let's go back to our section here and let's use this new feature. Let's go ahead and use this background scroll effect. And so we get all these options kind of to, literally we get a parallax effect right here. And let's click that. Let's see what that does for us. Let's go to preview. And where that parallax effect at though? It ain't there. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's try another one. .3D, this is a skew. Let's try the skew. Let's see what happens. We're just gonna try a whole bunch of these guys. That's kind of just like it's basically like scrolling, and I'm not down for that. So let's go ahead and go back to kind of what we were doing. Let's Control Z this, because that parallax thing, I think that only works if we have another section. I haven't tried it out enough, and I don't want to kind of confuse you guys trying to put new things together kind of live with you guys. This was more of what we were trying to produce here. Okay. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to take this section or this container. I'm going to change our 100 VH, and I'm going to set this to 25 VH for right now. Done. I'm going to take our container. I'm going to pop our image right here. I'm going to align this to the bottom of our container. Oops. And I want to find out why, because we have the 25 VH here, but it's still doing like a full page here, and we need to figure out why it's doing that. So let's figure this out. Let's go to our container. Right here. So we have 125 VH. There we go. Let's pop this back into our container here. I'm going to push this here to the bottom. There we go. I want this. This is the tricky part, because now our mountain is trying to go in this our background container, and that's not what we want. We want it to be in this container. And let's see. Okay, so we're almost there, but now what's happening here is we are getting this white space, and that's not necessarily what we want. We kind of want the web page to just stop here. So let's see, what can we do? Let's think. Let us think. Try the cogwheel, or Kimberly is saying in the chat, try the cogwheel on the image settings. That's where it is. Go to the image settings, it'll give you parallax settings. All right, let's see what we got. Cogwheel, boom. When the image is clicked, nothing wait, oh, I remember scroll behavior. I forget why I don't have access. Scroll behavior isn't available for images inside of any containers set to sticky or with overflow set to scroll. I wonder what would happen if, what I'm going to do here really quick is I'm going to save this section as a master. I'm actually going to save it as an asset. Parallax. And I'm going to add this to just saved assets. I'm gonna pull this into this here. I'm gonna make a whole new section underneath. Maybe I'll make a new page. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my asset that I just saved. Boom, boom, boom. Let's hunt for it. So there's that one. Where's the Brandon site? No. We just saved it. Where'd it go? Save as asset. I'm just gonna name it whatever. I'm gonna save it to saved assets. I'm gonna refresh this over here. Bimo, what's happening, my friend? How are you doing? We are currently doing some thinking. We're pretty close in terms of what it is that we want for our site. I think what we're gonna need to do, I guarantee you this is what we're gonna need to do, is this background container, right? We're gonna need to stretch it into our second container as well. So let's go to our section, let's go to our background. We're gonna need it to stretch to both of these puppies. So I'm gonna set it to here, row 1, and I'm gonna set it to row 2. There we go. I might need to take our H2 out of here because that's just the background. I'm just gonna add it to our section. I'm gonna pull it in between our container and background here. Let's preview what this looks like. All right, this container. Because what we're trying to do let's reduce this really quick. How do we want to do this? This full section should be 125. Yes. Maybe what we'll do is, let's see what we're doing without that. Okay. All right, so we don't have that white space. Good. Let's do the section to be 150. Basically, what we have to solve is what is the proper height for one. I think we fixed that. What's we call it? Yeah, Kimberly. So the parallax that the parallax for the image needs to have a full stretch. Work parallax won't work in an image in a container. Yeah. So what I'm attempting to do, there's like different types of parallax, and right now I'm just trying to achieve. It's kind of like the ghetto parallax. This background here won't necessarily change, and maybe we have to kind of think through this. Like, all I'm trying to achieve at this very moment is the basics of there's a background, there's words, and then there's a mountain that moves in between that background and the foreground. And the actual movement of the background I don't necessarily want or necessarily care about just yet, but I think we're gonna have to rethink how we're doing this. Now, sadness, guys. All right, let's do section. And sorry, guys, I kind of got derailed because I had a plan, and then I had other cool ideas, and that derailed me. This is why we have to try to keep these to 30 minutes, because as I get inspired with talking with you guys, I kind of go off plan, and it gets very very difficult to stay focused with what I had planned. All right, let's just go back to what we were doing. Quick add, we're gonna get back our image here. Okay, this will be our mountain. And this needs to be in our container. Let's push this up. Use our pieces here. Push it up this way. And I'm using the numbers here because every time I move it with my mouse, I keep moving it into the section, into the other container, and that's not what we want. We're gonna dock it to the bottom. Oh. There we go. Let's do like -60. Let's look at what we got. Okay. Let's move this. Let's don't display this container here. Or I'm just gonna move this with my arrow keys. And just hope that this doesn't bounce inside of the container. Alright. Let's go to preview. And I think we need to change how this, so sticky, this is in both. Maybe what we need to do is pinned. Let's try these. No, that makes it go to the top. This isn't working as well and as easy as I thought, guys. Like, if we want to keep things simple, all you need to do, I'll just explain this so you guys understand Parallax. Okay? All you need to do, if you want to have what you see here, it's one section that is default position. I'm going to delete this container for right now. I'm going to name these as well so you understand. Background. Foreground. All right. So this full section is section 1, or part 1 of our section. Part 2 of our section, which is totally blank. Part 3 of our section, which is filled with a foreground container. So what happens when we preview, this foreground image stays sticky for the first part of the section, the empty part of the section, and then as we get to that bottom portion, that foreground, the foreground is basically overshadowing the content. And the reason that's happening is because of our layers, right? The background is behind everything. The foreground is in front of the background, but it's not being seen until we're at the bottom of the page. Now, what Kimberly is talking about, just so I can show you guys what she's talking about, because it is a very, it's a simple setting, but it's not the type of parallax that I wanted to show you guys here today, which I am totally is not doing well. So let me go ahead. I'm going to just make a full new page, and I want to show you what Kimberly's talking about, which is a simple version of what I wanted to do. But because I need to go to the drawing board back with this, with this, what you guys are going to get out of this instead is, one, how to just do the basic parallax with the simple website that I showed you before, and how to use the parallax settings that EditorX has by default. So I'm going to click the new section that I have. I'm going to add a photo that I have, or that I want. I'm going to go ahead and use the background photo here that I have, just like we did before. And I can click this section, and I can click this background scroll effects. And now we have parallax. And I can go ahead and click that. And what this does when I preview is I get this little, I now do kind of get a little bit of parallax, and that will change. How much parallax I get depends on the size of my section. So I can go ahead and do 100 VH here. Let's go to preview. And so this is, it's kind of like fake parallax, I would call it. The things around it are moving, but it's kind of in place. So what I can do here is I'm going to go ahead and add our title, Brandon Groce. We're going to do yellowtail. But maybe, this might actually save us. Let's see if this actually works out. But this is why working live, honestly, is you guys get to see the good, bad, and ugly. Things that were supposed to happen don't end up turning out. And you guys see how we think together. Let's do edit text. Yellow or white. Let's go ahead, center that. Let's preview what this looks like. All right, so the background stays. We have our name moving. Now, one thing I don't necessarily, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna change. There is something, I want this header to overlap next section. There we go. Preview. Okay. And now what we need to do is, let's go ahead and add our little mountain. Now this is where the thinking really has to come in. But Kimberly says we like ugly. Well, sometimes I don't like ugly when, things should be working out. Let's see what happens. So background looks good. We have our mountain here. Now we need to make it so that Brandon is basically in an empty spot. And we have the second part of our section be the mountain. All right, so let's see what we can do. We're gonna click our section, apply a grid. I'm gonna do a 1x2, kind of what we did prior. I'm gonna pull this down. I wonder if I can add position type. We're gonna do sticky. Go back to edit. Let's see what happens. Preview. What happens if I do pinned? We're getting somewhere. What happens if I do sticky here? Nope. But we're getting there though. We have our name moving, which is exactly what you wanted. We have the background that's parallaxing. Now it's just a matter of getting this to move independently of this. Pin to page. Let's see. There we go. All right, we're close. We're close. Now, how do we hide all of that extra stuff? I'm going to go ahead and crop this. See if I can bring in these other edges here. Apply. Let me go ahead and just reset the image. Let me scale this down, pull this up. Center this. Preview. All right, so how do we, let's go don't display on the footer. Let's preview this. All right, okay, we're close. All right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is I'm gonna, see, this is why the teamwork makes the dream work, guys. And also, just a reminder that when you have something in mind, especially in our, what is that? Whoa, hold up. Wait a minute. All right. Boom. Can I Control Z that, please? Edit text, line height. Let's do 1, please. All right. But as I was saying, nothing really goes according to plan. Like, our jobs as designers is like constantly, did this work? Does this, does that work? It's a lot of, we all know, for those of us who understand that, like prototyping, when we get to prototyping, like some things work, some don't, and it can be a pain in the butt. All right. So now with this said, the background doesn't move that much. So let's see what we can do. How can we make the background move more? So let us go to this section here. Let's go to design, not design. Let's go to the actual layout here. Let's make this like something crazy, like 200 vertical height. Let's go to preview. Donde? All right, so did our boom. For now, we're not getting this sort of, we're not getting the parallax effect that we wanted. I am going to move this down a little bit more so that when we scroll, we get more of that, more movement. And I would like it to stop like right around here. So let's see. I wonder if that is about like 125 pixels. I think we need to adjust the height of this section. Let's pull this down. And I actually don't even necessarily think we need a grid layout anymore. Reason being is because our mountain, there we go. JT says most people will slap some tape on the problem, but I like to think we Editor X creators use washi, what is this, washi tape, and make it pretty. I have no idea what washi tape is. But here we go, guys. And so what we can do here now is we can have a little fun with this. If we wanted, we can click on my name, we can go to animations, and we can go to fade in. Go ahead and preview. It fades in, and as we scroll up, it's good to go. And I think I probably will reduce this section size to, what do we want? Not 125, we'll do 110 or 115. Preview. All right, let's do that one more time because I do want to see the animation. Boom, and there we go. All right, we do have the parallax, but for whatever odd reason, you know, the background does not want to play nicely here, and we have selected our scroll effects added. I'm really curious, you know, if we just select some other things, what will transpire? So let's just, that's the background image though. I guess what this does is it keeps the background in place so that everything else, so I guess the parallax is, you know, it is working for us. So with that said, guys, that's it. You know, this is what we want to achieve. If you guys want to, what is it? It says make the mountain sticky. Let's see if we can do that. Position, sticky, preview. Same thing. So what I challenge you guys to do is do this simple project. Have a background, have a middle ground, have a foreground, and mess around and see what you guys can create in Editor X. And that is it. Basically, that is what because there's a million things that you guys can do here. This is just simple. I just wanted you guys to think in terms of foreground, middle ground, and background. And again, for this first mountain here, what I did here is made this pinned. I think maybe what you were talking about, Kimberly, is making it sticky, but I don't think that gives us, it gives us this effect, which is not what we want. So I'm gonna Control Z that. What it is pinned, and it's pinned to the page. So it basically just stays there. So that is it for today, guys. And thank you guys for all of your comments, your suggestions, because, you know, what I had planned for today, I kind of complicated things. And all I really needed to do was, as Kimberly said, parallax in the background, have our text in the foreground, and then have our pinned mountain in the beginning. I wanted to do something way cooler than we ended up having today. But again, because the time is short, sometimes I get a little over ambitious and realize we're doing a little too much. But thank you guys for making the team work and the dream work today. And I also want to shout out to both Gabriel and Kimberly for doing two amazing projects. First off, let's start with Kimberly. She did an amazing slime project, which I thought was totally cupcake related, because these looked like cupcakes. They looked like cupcakes to me. Like, I literally thought this was a cupcake. And I was like, oh, different cupcakes. They even had like mint Oreo cream cupcakes. But this was an excellent job. It was very well produced. I loved some of the what's it called, hover interactions. The responsivity of the site is absolutely amazing. And you know, Kimberly said today that she was very proud of our our challenge yesterday, because it helped her through understanding just the responsive nature of Editor X and how to think about, you know, grids and responsive behavior. Holy cow, Gabriel, holy cow, man. This is sick. I love synth stuff. Man, you guys really knock it out of the park every time you produce these challenges. Love the fact that you have them even hoverable, these little cassettes here, even in the mobile version. And they respond very nicely, and I love the video background. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for today's session. If you guys like this video, it helps tremendously if you like this video and subscribe. And also hit the bell notification if you guys want to join our Discord. You guys can go link down in the description, join us and the amazing people that make our community what it is. You guys have the ability to ask questions to your heart's content to overcome some of the things that you have basically hit a wall against in Editor X. I know a lot of you guys continuously to ask good questions and even help me in terms of what you guys are interested in and want to learn more about. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, JT, Kimberly, NFD, my friend. What's going on? Non-fungible. And we have Bima. Thank you guys for hanging out. Gabriel, have a great day, and I will see you on another amazing video and in our Discord. Have a great one. Peace.